Baraboo neighbors will get together and brainstorm what's next for the community after making national headlines for a controversial prom photo.
An arrest is made after a shooting on the city's north side last night that sent one man to the hospital.
And a month after a Wisconsin teen went missing, her family hopes someone knows where she is and that they will see her again.
This is News 3 This Morning.
Good morning and welcome to News 3 This Morning. It is Thursday, November 15th. We're looking forward to a pretty nice day here, but Hattie, you were mentioning to some of our crew here that the snow totals...
Yeah, we're watching it closely. Yeah, some of the models are coming in, bringing some slightly higher totals, so we'll watch that. Again, that will be Friday night into Saturday morning. Don't get too excited right now. Nothing today, but there is an alert day in the forecast for Saturday morning. Light snow is expected to develop Friday night and continue into early Saturday. Right now, it looks like up to 2 inches possible, but again, some of those later forecast models may bring in some higher snow totals. We'll keep our eye on it. A little bit of freezing drizzle is possible as well. Nothing showing up around here on the radar map, but it is a close call for snow just to the south. There will likely be some snow in Chicago today with a storm system tracking to our south and east. Temperatures here, we haven't found the bottom just yet. 16. I was really hoping that it would be warmer here today than it was yesterday, but we're getting pretty close to yesterday's temperatures now. 16 in Madison, still in the 20s though to the west. 23 in Mineral Point, even 20 in the Dells. As you head out the door this morning, look for sunshine. After the sun comes up a little bit later on, temperatures will climb through the 30s, back into the low 40s this afternoon. So technically not as cold as yesterday. Here's a look at your first alert traffic maps this morning. Still pretty quiet on all the roads in and around Madison. No accidents to report, so you're still going at posted speeds heading into the city.
Certainly what we like to see, especially when we're looking ahead to a potentially treacherous commute on Saturday morning.
Keep Saturday morning in mind, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Hats.
You're welcome.
6:02 your time now. The Baraboo community is meeting tonight to talk about the fallout from a controversial prom photo of the senior high school class making an anti-Semitic gesture. Baraboo Mayor Mike Palm says he doesn't know how many people to expect tonight, but he says this meeting is just the start of a bigger conversation. It comes after Monday night's school board meeting, where the mayor said it was cathartic for people to voice their concerns about that picture. It starts at 6:30 tonight at the Civic Center, and it's open to everyone. Now, the school district is also planning to host a discussion about the photo. We're still waiting on the details for that event. In a statement, Superintendent Lori Mueller apologized for the photo and said, quote, "Regardless of the details of the photo or the intentions of the hearts of those involved, the truth is this is an image that has been rightly described as hateful, frightening, and disappointing." 6:03 right now. A man is in the hospital this morning with a gunshot wound. He is expected to be okay after being shot on Madison's north side. Police say this happened around 7:30 last night on Troy Drive right near Warner Park. Officers arrived to find a man shot in the chest. He is out of surgery this morning and is expected to be okay. Officers were able to track down the suspect, Richard Harris Jr. They arrested him without incident. They believe the two knew one another. Today marks exactly 1 month since a 13-year-old from northern Wisconsin has been missing, and authorities say there's still no word on where she might be or why she disappeared. Jamie Kloss's parents, Denise and James, were found shot to death inside their home in Barron on October 15th. Police were responding to a 911 call from Denise's cell phone at the time, but still haven't said who made that call. By the time they got to the home, Jamie was gone. There's still an active Amber Alert out for her this morning. Her aunts, uncle, and grandfather are still convinced, though, she's alive somewhere.
It's just unreal. You're so emotional. You don't even know what you're saying, really. I mean, even now, I mean, still, you have to go through a big thought process, and it's just...
The FBI is still offering a $50,000 reward for information that helps authorities find Jamie. The Barron County Sheriff says investigators have cleared more than 2,300 tips in that case. One of the 3 people accused of beating a man to death inside a Lodi home is expected in Dane County Court today. 24-year-old Jacob Johnson is scheduled to have his initial appearance. He's currently being held on a $35,000 cash bond. Johnson and 2 others face felony murder charges in connection to the death of Dalton Ziegler late last month. Now, prosecutors say Ziegler was dating the woman facing charges as well. She allegedly thought
thought he was cheating on her and told the 2 others to beat up Ziegler. He was found the next morning dead inside that home.
A teacher in Waterloo is on administrative leave this morning after a mother says her son was, quote, dragged like a dog down the hallway. Catherine Lee suspected something was wrong last Thursday when her 5-year-old came home from school visibly upset. Administrators at Waterloo Elementary told Lee about the incident the next day and showed her surveillance video of her son being dragged by that teacher. In a statement, the district says its highest priority is to ensure the safety and well-being of students and that one person's poor choices doesn't reflect on the good going on in its schools. The Jefferson County District Attorney is looking into criminal charges as well.
The union representing Verona firefighters is filing formal charges against the department's leadership. Those charges have been filed with the Police and Fire Commission. Now, earlier this week, the firefighters Local 311 called for the resignation of Verona Fire Chief Joseph Giver and Assistant Chief Don Catenacci in response to an internal investigation conducted by the city. The union says the results of that investigation proved leaders within the department offered inadequate training, did not follow certain policies and procedures, and didn't display professionalism and good leadership. Chief Giver tells News 3 the allegations are untrue, false, and misleading, saying the investigation was not an accurate read of what's going on at the department.
Gun deer season starts this weekend in Wisconsin, and the state is asking you to keep an eye out for chronic wasting disease in 5 new counties up north. The DNR wants to sample more than 300 deer in Chippewa, Dunn, Pepin, Buffalo, and Trempealeau counties during this year's hunt. It comes after a deer was found with CWD in Eau Claire County at the end of last year's season. The DNR says 55 of the 72 counties in the state have now been affected by CWD. That includes every county in southern Wisconsin. Speaking of deer, nearly 4,000 deer car crashes will happen on Wisconsin roads this month alone. That's more than double what we see most other months of the year.
Yeah, and those accidents are not only dangerous, but they're getting more expensive than ever. Christina Laurie is live this morning outside Cross Plains with how much deer collisions could actually cost you. Hi, Christina.
Good morning, Leah and Danica. Nowadays, cars are more likely to have advanced safety technology features in them. They're great at helping keep you safe should you hit a deer, but all of that technology also makes the price tag for collision repair a lot more costly and the process a whole lot more complicated. Madison-based American Family Insurance, which insures more cars than any other company here in Wisconsin, says it handles around 9,000 deer vehicle claims every year. The average payment is around $3,300. That number's been growing, up 13% from just 5 years ago. AAA attributes that price spike to the high repair cost of advanced systems like automatic emergency braking and blind spot monitoring. Local car repair shops have seen a spike in deer damaged cars this month, too.
We had probably 10 vehicles come in last week, and so far this week we've had 3. Range in damage from 3,000 to 8,000. We've even got a couple that have been totaled out.
On top of that, many typical repairs require original equipment manufacturer parts instead of aftermarket parts, which add to the cost. But while the typical peak season for deer car hits is now, there are more throughout the year as a whole than in the past. Coming up in the next half hour of News 3 this morning, I'll explain what can possibly be done to lower that number.
Some good advice there because it is only getting more expensive. All right, Christina Laurie reporting live for us. Thank you, Christina.
6:08 right now, and high cholesterol unfortunately runs in my family. I know a lot of families out there. I actually just got a reminder from my doctor to get an updated test. They will be looking at it under new guidelines this time around. Dr. Mara is in after the break to talk about what's changed with those recommendations and how it could affect your next doctor's visit.
Before that, Hattie has temperatures about 15 degrees warmer than where we were Tuesday. She'll update us on some chances for some flurries this weekend when News 3 This Morning continues.
Good morning from the Hattie-O Patio. Another chilly start to this Thursday morning with temperatures down in the teens here in Madison. Let's take a look, though, at the alert day forecast for Saturday morning. We're looking at some snow spreading into the area Friday night and coming to an end Saturday morning. This is the latest update with the forecast model, upping those snow totals by about an inch. So around 2, maybe up to 3 inches possible right along the Wisconsin-Illinois state line. There still is the potential for a little bit of freezing drizzle to mix in as well. Let's take a look at what we have on the radar map this morning, and things are pretty quiet around here, but if we zoom the map out, you'll see a mess affecting parts of the Ohio River Valley. That storm is a nor'easter, and it's going to move up the eastern seaboard through the day today, bringing snow and rain and strong winds to many locations, and that is likely to slow travel in the eastern half of the country. You can see that snow getting into about Chicago. There may be some very light snow bands clipping far southeastern Wisconsin today, but for us in south central Wisconsin, we're going to stay dry. Our temperatures are coldest right here in Madison, 16 degrees, and through the Wisconsin River Valley, 15 in Boscobel and 17 in Lone Rock. Elsewhere, temperatures seem to be in the 20s. Winds are very light, though, so there isn't a wind chill really to factor in this morning. Here's a look at your future track forecast model. And again, it does bring some of those clouds and light snow bands into far southeastern Wisconsin, but our viewing area stays dry and actually sunny through the day today. Hard to believe that we'll have sunshine with just a few hundred miles away. They're looking at a major winter storm. There is a chance for some snow tonight with a weak cold front moving through the area. That snow will move through overnight tonight, maybe just a dusting at best as far as accumulation is concerned. Dry through the day on Friday. Temperatures will still top in the upper 30s to near 40 degrees, but there is that light snow then spreading in Friday night into early Saturday. It winds down pretty quickly, but it looks like we could definitely see some accumulation from that second band of snow. Here's a look at your extended forecast then. We have temperatures hovering right around 40 for the next couple of days. Behind that snowstorm, though, it is getting a little bit colder once again. Highs in the low 30s Sunday into Monday. Dry for the first part of next week. If you're traveling on Wednesday, looking good. There may be some rain developing later on Thanksgiving. Now let's get a look at your first alert traffic maps with Jason Stone this morning. Good morning, Jason.
Good morning. Drivers are moving at the posted speed limit on the Beltline. Some minor congestion around the Stoughton Road interchange. Motorists are seeing brake lights popping up on Verona Road between the Beltline and Highway PD. Otherwise, routes heading into Madison are mostly clear. Traffic flow is smooth downtown with the heaviest traffic found on East Wash near the Capitol Square. With your first alert traffic, I'm Jason Stone.
Thank you very much, Jason. And of course, thank you, Hattie. 6:15 right now. And for the first time in 5 years, the American Heart Association is changing up its guidelines for cholesterol screening. They're hoping it will help more than 90 million people better manage high cholesterol levels.
Yeah, this is something both Danica and I are interested in. We both have family histories of this. Here to talk about it more with us is Dr. Mandira Mehra from SSM Health. Good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, great to be here.
So what stood out most to you about these changes?
I think the biggest thing that stands out is we've always known that people with higher cholesterol do stand higher risks of certain diseases, heart attack, stroke, things like that. It's sort of become intuitive. We read about this in magazines, hear about it from your doctor, but we never really think of it as a lifetime risk. So what I mean by that is, what about kids, what about children, what about people maybe in their 20s and 30s that have higher cholesterol and perhaps can do some lifestyle modification, perhaps medication if needed, because that'll reduce your overall lifetime risk of heart attack, stroke, and diseases like that. So rather than just focusing on this elderly age group or middle age group, where we've always known that this can increase our risk of diseases like this, looking at a lifetime risk is very important. The other thing is we're talking about some new scans, some new imaging modalities, looking at the heart vessels themselves and seeing the heart calcium buildup and seeing if that can be used to also help guide our guidelines and how much medication should be taking. You have to remember, this is not a one-size-fits-all. So just because you, me versus Danica, maybe the guidelines for our cholesterol won't be exactly the same. We have some general guidelines, but it also looks at things like you said, our family history, ethnicity. Do we have other chronic illnesses like kidney issues, inflammatory issues? Depending on all these factors, that may actually give us a very specific guideline. So those would be the three things that really stand out to me. It's really building on the 2013 guidelines, which say overall healthy lifestyle, overall lifestyle lifestyle modification, and then of course checking with your doctor sooner rather than later to see what are those modifications and where you stand.
Yes. Yeah. Speaking of something that affects a lot of people, we're wanted to talk to you too about a really kind of impressive study that showed a scan can indicate dementia risk and dementia symptoms and diagnoses 10 years earlier than we had before. I mean, the implications here are huge.
Are amazing.
Yeah.
And so we always talk about numbers here. And close to 50 million people right now are affected. It's the 6th leading cause of death in the United States. So, you know, either if you don't know someone personally, you probably have a friend or family member, someone that may be affected by dementia. Dementia is really an overall term that refers to that brain damage that occurs, loss of memory, cognitive function. There can be various causes here, but really, oftentimes patients are diagnosed with dementia and they kind of feel helpless. Now what do I do? What does this mean? Do I have any options? Imagine knowing that 10 years earlier. And so this study was amazing. It was done in England, and they looked at over 3,000 people. A 10-minute scan, basically ultrasounds of the blood vessels in your neck, was able to predict to some degree if you would have a higher risk of dementia in the future. And the whole thought process here kind of goes along with that first study, is a healthy heart equals a healthy brain very often. And so if your heart is more unhealthy, then those blood vessels in the neck did pump at a certain rate and higher intensity, which then of course damaged the brain at a higher rate. So imagine knowing 10 years earlier that, wow, we can do these lifestyle modifications and that will lower your risk of dementia. Here we can actually do something, so it's preventative. We need a lot more studies, but it's really exciting that a 10-minute scan can change perhaps the trajectory of your life.
Yeah, that could have huge implications for people.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Dr. Mara, thanks so much for joining us.
Great to be here.
Always good to see you. 6:18 right now, and Dane and Rock counties are getting some financial support when it comes to helping people in a mental health crisis.
Those are 2 of the 15 counties receiving a $20,000 grant from the State Department of Health Services. Those counties get to decide how to spend that money, but it could go to things like staff training, partnerships between law enforcement and schools, and new electronic systems to share information. Each county has 6 months to complete their project, and if they can show their work has made a difference, they're eligible for a $5,000 bonus. About 55,000 people will be diagnosed with pancreatic cancer this year, and all but 11,000 of them will die from the disease. That's why the Pancreatic Cancer Action Network is working to raise awareness today on National Pancreatic Cancer Day. They want people to be aware of the risk factors. Those include family history, age, and chronic or hereditary pancreatitis. The 5-year survival rate for pancreatic cancer is just 9%, largely because it's so hard to detect. It's the 3rd leading cause of cancer death in the U.S., and it could be the 2nd leading as soon as the year 2020.
It is almost 6:20 right now, and this is the story that has a lot of people talking this morning. It's Christmas come early for a Wisconsin company that gave its employees guns as a holiday bonus. We'll tell you what kind of feedback that manufacturer has received both in and out of the office.
And Hattie's got a much milder forecast, one that won't have the kiddos bundling up in all of the layers before getting on the bus today. Lots of sun, too, just starting to peek out. We'll check in on your forecast when News 3 This Morning returns.
Good morning, I'm meteorologist Hattie McLean. We're starting with mostly clear skies here across southern Wisconsin this morning. Not a bad start to the day at all. 16 though here in Madison. It's still pretty chilly. Janesville's at 18. The Dells have now dropped to 19 degrees. Still holding on to 23 though in Mineral Point. Here's a look at our wind speeds and directions. Winds are very light if not calm this morning, so no wind chill to report. Your bus stop weather forecast calls for some sunshine as you head to school early today. Temperatures will still be in the teens, so bundle up this morning. A little bit milder this afternoon with highs near 40 degrees. There is a chance for some flurries or light snow showers tonight. Nothing that's going to cancel school on Friday, but also another chance for some light snow Friday night into Saturday. That has prompted an alert day in the forecast. Have a wonderful day.
All right, Hattie, thank you so much. So it's pretty typical this time of year for employers to offer some sort of holiday bonus or maybe a special gift.
But one Wisconsin company is making headlines for what they're giving all of their employees for Christmas. Get this, Ben Schott is based in Hortonville, just outside of Appleton. They make novelty glassware embedded with bullets to make it look like it's been shot. They're giving each one of their 16 full-time employees a $500 gift card for a gun as their holiday gift this year. The company's owner says it's part of an effort to promote personal safety and team building.
It kind of fits our company culture and what we make, so that was the motivation behind the gift. As soon as we announced the Christmas gift to everyone, we had the next week, we had a lady come in and did training for everyone on handgun safety.
Right, so just as the company's owner said there, employees had to complete a gun safety course before getting their gift card. 2 employees initially declined the gift, but now they're saying they might reconsider after taking the course.
It's very interesting, making national headlines right now just because it's a hot button topic. But
yeah.
Apparently he has gotten some not so nice comments and some really supportive ones. So
certainly both sides of the coin there.
Super interesting.
All right, 6:25 your time now. The road may still be closed, but some Prairie's mayor wants to make sure we all know downtown is open for business. That story's coming up.
And it is official, at least in terms of being on the internet. We'll tell you more about the governor-elect's next steps as he transitions into office when News 3 This Morning continues. The uncertainty continues as the status of a major tax incentive package and hundreds of jobs here in Wisconsin is still unclear.
And it's the most dangerous, potentially deadly time out on the roadways for Wisconsin drivers. The number of deer crashes are up, while even the most advanced technology doesn't help lower that number.
This is News 3 This Morning.
Good morning and welcome to the final half hour of News 3 This Morning. It is now 6:29 on this Thursday, November 15th. Yet again, all bundled up outside. We're sitting around 16 degrees this morning.
Yeah, but that temperature is going to more than double today. Hattie's still got the layers on for this morning, though. Hats, how's it feeling out there?
It's still pretty chilly outside, I'll be honest, but temperatures are going to climb a little bit higher today than they have the last couple of days, so that is the good news. Take a live look from the WISC-TV sky cam this morning. Mostly clear skies here on the west side of town, just a little bit of cloud cover to our south and east. Those clouds are associated with a pretty strong winter storm, though, a nor'easter that will miss us. Here's a look at our temperatures compared to yesterday at this time. We're just a touch warmer in most locations, couple of degrees here and there. 16 in Madison, but 23 in Mineral Point and Prairie du Chien, 19 in the Dells. Temperatures over the next 12 hours are going to climb back into the low 40s this afternoon. That's the good news. Then we should have plenty of sunshine. A dry forecast is in store for us today. Here's a look at your first alert traffic maps this morning. We'll show you what's happening on the area roads. Still looking pretty quiet across the region. No accidents reports. I looked all around southern Wisconsin, so good news to report on that traffic report this morning.
All right, thanks so much, Hattie. 6:30 your time now. The fate of a $100 million tax incentive package to Kimberly-Clark is still unclear this morning. The measure has already passed in the state assembly, but state Senate leaders are still unsure if they have the votes to pass it after yesterday's Joint Finance Committee meeting. The company announced earlier this year that it planned to close its plant in Fox Crossing. If this tax break passes, though, it would save nearly 400 jobs there. At least 3 Republican senators spoke out against the plan. Other Republicans are calling on Democrats to support it, but none have said they would. Senate Majority Leader Scott Fitzgerald says he'll call for another vote later this month if there are enough votes.
You can officially submit your resume to work for the governor-elect this morning. Tony Evers and Lieutenant Governor-elect Mandela Barnes officially launched the team's transition website yesterday. That's where you can share ideas with Evers and apply to be part of his administration. Now, Evers also announced Carrie Lynch, the strategic communications specialist for UW-Madison, will lead communications throughout the transition period. We are still waiting to hear from Governor Walker, who says he will not talk to reporters out of decency right now. Walker posted on Facebook explaining his decision, saying, quote, "The decent thing to do is to let the governor-elect, Tony Evers, have his time to talk about his transition."
Undocumented immigrants are hopeful that Governor-elect Evers could help them get a Wisconsin driver's license once he takes office. The State Journal reports groups like Voces de la Frontera are pushing for those licenses. Republican lawmakers haven't talked about where they stand on changing the law yet, but because they control the legislature, a Democratic immigration bill might be difficult to get through. Representatives say the licenses would include a disclaimer that they can't be used at the polls. A recent report shows the number of drivers without car insurance in the state would drop by 28,000 if lawmakers allowed those undocumented immigrants to have licenses.
Main Street Sun Prairie is nearly ready to reopen 4 months after a deadly explosion downtown. Community leaders held a ceremony yesterday on the freshly paved portion of Main Street. Now, part of it is still closed off to traffic, but it will open up by the end of the month at the very latest. Sun Prairie's mayor and fire chief are telling the community that the time for grieving is over, and now is the time to focus on building the town and each other back up.
What I really need to say to all of you is we run in and rescue you from all the difficult issues that you have, but this is a total change of events. You folks rescued us.
The mayor says Main Street just needs a couple more days of work before it can open to traffic.
All right, as drivers get ready to head to their holiday destinations ahead of Thanksgiving, there is a reminder that nearly 4,000 crashes happen every November here in Wisconsin, all involving deer.
And that is 4 times the number of accidents we see some other months of the year when it comes to deer collisions. Christina Lori's live outside Cross Plains this morning with the reminders of how to avoid crashes like that and the costs that can come with them. Good morning, Christina.
Leah and Danica, for all of the advanced technologies in cars nowadays, all the advanced safety systems, you'd think there's a better way to prevent these crashes, but surprisingly, they don't do a whole lot to lower those numbers. Some higher-end vehicles with big price tags have sensors that can detect heat or would let a driver know a critter or pedestrian is up ahead, but that's only a small fraction of the cars out on the roads. For other drivers, a deer car collision often damages fenders, headlights, hoods, bumper covers, and even the reinforcement of those parts, depending on the speed of the car and the size of the animal you hit. Now, it's not unusual for a deer that has been hit to bounce along the side of a car, peppering it with dents in addition to damaging it at the initial point of impact. Although your first instinct when spotting a deer may be to swerve, don't.
Don't swerve. Don't try to miss the deer. Just apply the brakes as hard as you can. The vehicles nowadays are meant to help in that situation with the anti-lock brakes and the pre-collision alert. If you swerve, that's when you're going to take the chance of hitting another vehicle.
For most motorists, avoiding deer is a low-tech process. Slowing down and keeping your eyes on the road, especially during the early morning, late afternoon, and night hours, are among the best defense drivers have. Now, some crashes still are unavoidable. Deers can run up to speeds of 30 miles an hour, and if you hit a deer at that speed, damage is inevitable.
Ugh, hard to even think about.
Yep.
All right, Christina Laurie reporting live for us. Thank you, Christina.
6:35 right now. The Baraboo community will get together tonight to talk about what ways to make sure their city is not defined by one single picture. The details are coming up in the morning sprint.
And if he wasn't cool enough, Danica's favorite Bucks player is inspiring all of us to help out our neighbors this Thanksgiving. I'm not going to try and say his name, but we will tell you how the Greek Freak will help out the hungry. That's coming up next on News 3 This Morning.
Welcome back. So we've been informed that this picture may have already been shown for My Morning, but it was so good we had to share it again. This is Brent's shot off the back of his pickup truck. Just a really, really cool shot there, Brent.
You never know. We might pop this one back up a third time. That's so good. Thanks so much for sharing, Brent. What does your morning look like? Take a picture and post it on our Facebook page or on Twitter and use the hashtag MyNews3Morning. We share our favorites every morning right here on the program. All right, it is a quick turnaround for the Green Bay Packers, who will hope to get their first road win of the season tonight in Seattle. The Packers have struggled away from Lambeau this year, losing their 4 road games by an average of 9.5 points. They'll be in Seattle tonight for the first time since their heartbreaking overtime loss in the NFC Championship game back in 2015. The Pack has beat Russell Wilson and the Seahawks 3 times since then, but all of those games have been at Lambeau. Tonight's game kicks off in Seattle at 7:20 over on Fox 47.
So if his 31 points and 9 rebounds last night against the Grizzlies were not enough to make you a fan of the Greek freak, Giannis Antetokounmpo is leading his team's mission to feed the hungry this Thanksgiving. The Bucks are working with Pick and Save to donate more than $50,000 worth of food to Milwaukee area food pantries over the next week. And after helping to drop off that food on Thanksgiving Day, Giannis will help serve meals to about 200 people at St. Vincent de Paul in Milwaukee. It's all part of the Bucks Season of Giving campaign, which officially starts next Thursday. And starting Saturday, the Goodman Community Center will start handing out Thanksgiving baskets to thousands of families in need in the Madison area. WISC-TV is proud to once again partner with the Community Center and the UW Athletic Department for that effort this year. Right now, we need everything from frozen turkeys to stuffing mix and canned vegetables. You can drop off any of those items at the Goodman Community Center gym. For more information, head over to channel3000.com. All right, we are back in the 40s for the next couple of days, but Hattie is preparing us for some snow / freezing drizzle / just mess that could make driving a little dicey Saturday morning. She'll have her full forecast next. But first, though, if you have a kiddo turning 3 soon, please let us know so we can show their picture on TV. And thank you for watching News 3 This Morning. Taking a live look right now at the Henry Vilas Zoo. We are seeing a very quiet start. Maybe the zoo animal's still asleep this morning. That's all right, because the zoo is going to be the happening place coming up here. You can see it all decked out for the holidays very soon.
The annual Zoo Lights display starts tonight. You can take a stroll down Candy Cane Lane, see the kiddos, take the kiddos to see Santa, and take in the holiday spirit, all bundled up. It's going to be kind of cold. The display is open starting at 5:30 tonight and runs every Thursday through Sunday until the end of December. Tickets are $7 for everyone 3 years and up, or $25 for a 4-pack. And Hads, you're going to want to bring the mittens and the hat because it will be pretty cold this evening.
That's true. It may start to look a little bit more festive around here after the weekend as well. Nothing showing up on the radar map this morning. Things are pretty quiet around here, but if we zoom the map out, you'll see a large storm system from Illinois all the way to the East Coast this morning. This is a nor'easter, has plenty of moisture to work with, and as it moves northward, it hits the colder air that's already in place. We're definitely familiar with the cold air that we've been seeing over the last couple of days. That is changing some of that rain over to some snow. Now, this storm system is going to pull off to the north and east. A few of the snow bands may reach the far southeastern corner of the state, but that's about it. There could be some pretty impressive snow totals, though, as that storm system moves into parts of upstate New York. Now, our snow potential here across southern Wisconsin, there is a little bit on the map as well, and this is why. Future Track will show you one cold front advancing across the northern plains today, bringing a chance for some light snow overnight tonight. Now, amounts from this first cold front will be probably just a dusting or not much more than that. The second front, though, and storm system that move in late Friday into Saturday have the potential to bring some accumulating snow across just the southern part of the state. So we've added an alert day to the forecast. Here is the latest update on the model, and it has increased those snow totals just by about an inch over what we saw a couple of hours ago. So around 2 inches possible, maybe up to 3 inches in the far southern part of the state. There is the potential for a little bit of freezing drizzle to mix in as well. Now, no snow in our forecast, though, for today. We're starting out chilly here in Madison. It's 16 degrees, 17 in Lone Rock. Platteville's still at 20 degrees, and it's 23 in Monroe this morning. Winds are very light, 5 miles an hour or less across the area, so no wind chill to report this morning. Your Pinpoint City forecast highs today, well, a little bit warmer than yesterday. 39 in New Glarus, Stoughton tops at 38, 41 though in Fort Atkinson as well as Watertown. To the west, 40 in Prairie du Chien, 39 in Muscoda, and then to the north, temperatures should top in the upper 30s in Mauston as well as Montello. Poynette and Prairie du Sac may top at 41 degrees. Here in Madison, 41 is our high for the day today. We're looking at temperatures climbing to a high of 40 tomorrow. It does get a little cooler around here for the upcoming weekend. An alert day is in the forecast for Saturday morning with that potential for some accumulating snow. After that, dry as we head through much of next week. Some rain chances return heading into Thanksgiving. Here's a look at our Pet Walk forecast. Look at Mason.
Oh, yeah.
Mason's a little big for that tractor, but still looks very happy nonetheless.
Yeah, he's about to go out and mow the lawn before it snows.
Come on, too late.
That's a John Deere. You can probably put a snowplow on the front of that
That's
one.
true.
Maybe he's just getting ready then, getting it all warmed up.
Yeah.
Cute pup, though. How long do you think he actually stayed in that seat?
He might sit there for
long enough for the picture.
He might go on for the ride.
Enough for the
my
picture.
dog used to ride with me on the lawn tractor.
Nice.
That's pretty impressive.
That is impressive.
Teachable trait right there.
All right. Thank you, Addie.
You're welcome.
Stay with us. The Morning Sprint is up next.
6:51 time now for the morning sprint. Addie says we are finally getting back closer to normal for this time of year with temperatures in the low 40s.
And with deer hunting and Thanksgiving travel seasons coming up, Christina Laurie tells us why car deer crashes are more expensive than ever. But we start in Baraboo, where community members will meet tonight to talk about the controversial prom photo that's made international headlines, showing the senior class there showing an anti-Semitic gesture. Baraboo Mayor Mike Palm says the meeting is just the start of a bigger conversation about moving forward. It starts at 6:30 at the Civic Center, and it's open to everyone. The Baraboo School District is also working on organizing an event of their own.
A gunshot victim is out of surgery this morning after Madison police say he was shot in the chest on the city's north side. That 25-year-old man is expected to be okay. Officers responded to Troy Drive around 7:30 last night, right near Warner Park. The suspect, 27-year-old Richard Harris Jr., was arrested less than a mile away.
Prosecutors in Saudi Arabia are asking for the death penalty for 5 of the people charged in the murder of a Washington Post journalist. A total of 11 suspects have been indicted in connection with Jamal Khashoggi's death. Khashoggi disappeared after going into the Saudi consulate in Turkey's capital city. The suspects haven't been named, but Turkish officials maintain the killing was ordered by some of the Saudi government's top officials.
The search continues for the more than 100 people still missing as firefighters continue to battle the deadliest and most destructive fire in California history. At least 56 people have died as a result of those fires. Electric company PG&E now faces a lawsuit this morning filed by some of the victims of the wildfires who claim it failed to inspect and maintain power lines in the area around the so-called Camp Fire. There was reportedly an outage just 15 minutes before that massive fire broke out.
The first big winter storm of the season could affect millions of people over the next couple of days. A wintry mix of snow and sleet is already hitting parts of the southeast and the Midwest. 2 deaths have been reported in Mississippi when a tour bus there overturned on an icy highway.
And that storm will miss us to the east. We can see a little bit of cloud cover on the horizon to the east due to that storm system. Here's our live look from the Queen Bee Radio Skycam in Platteville. On the satellite and radar map this morning, again, some clouds moving into southeastern Wisconsin. But for the rest of us, we have sunshine this morning. Temperatures starting in the teens and low 20s, climbing to highs, though, at least right around 40 this afternoon. We should top at 40 degrees or 41 here in Madison later on today. So technically not as cold as it was yesterday.
Good news. Thank you so much, Addie. The fate of a $100 million tax incentive package for Kimberly Clark is still up in the air this morning. At least 3 Republican state senators are speaking out against the plan. Now, the company announced earlier this year it planned to close its plant in the Fox Valley area, putting hundreds of jobs in jeopardy. The company says it is willing to delay that decision based on what the legislature decides. Senate Majority Leader Scott Fitzgerald says he will call for another vote on the incentive package later this month if there are not enough votes to pass it this time around.
You can officially submit your resume to work for the governor-elect. Tony Evers and Lieutenant Governor-elect Mandela Barnes officially launched the team's transition website yesterday. That's where you can share ideas with Evers and apply to be part of his administration.
A teacher in Waterloo is on administrative leave this morning after a mother says her son was, quote, dragged like a dog down the school hallway. Catherine Lee suspected something was wrong last Thursday when her 5-year-old came home visibly upset. Administrators at Waterloo Elementary told Lee about the incident the next day and showed her surveillance video of her son being dragged by a teacher. The Jefferson County District Attorney is looking into criminal charges.
Madison police are warning teens about a Snapchat scam offering a way to make a quick buck. An 18-year-old student responded to one of those posts and met up with a guy who told him he'd pay $100 if he'd deposit a $1,500 check into his account and then later withdraw it. The teen agreed, even handed over his account name and his password, only to find out that check was fake.
There's a reminder from police in Beloit to track packages this holiday season after a case of porch pirates in that city yesterday. Officers there say some neighbors noticed 2 people taking a package from someone's porch and then running off with it. This happened on Park Avenue. And thanks to pictures and a description of those people where they went, police were able to make an arrest and return that stolen package.
With Thanksgiving just a week away, officials warn this time of year is the most dangerous out on the roadways for Wisconsin drivers. It's deer mating season, and the Wisconsin DOT says more than 200 vehicle deer crashes happen every day this month. November is consistently the most accident-prone month with nearly 4,000 crashes happening during this month alone. Last year, 9 people were killed in Wisconsin and more than 600 were injured in crashes with deer. For a full list of advice on how to avoid accidents and what to do if you find yourself in one, visit our website, channel3000.com.
Thank you, Christina. 6:56 now. Let's turn it over to Jason Stone with a look at your First Alert traffic. Good morning, Jason.
Good morning. No major incidents on the Beltline as motorists are driving at the posted speed limit. Some delays are being reported on the Verona Road interchange. Drivers on John Nolan are moving well with only minor congestion at the Rimrock intersection. With your First Alert traffic, I'm Jason Stone.
Thank you, Jason.
And we are starting with mostly clear skies across southern Wisconsin this morning. Not a bad start to the day, but still a little chilly outside. Here's a live look from the Edgewater Sky Cam early this morning. Kind of a muted sunrise this morning across the region with clouds to the east. Here's a look at our day planner temperatures. We're looking at high temperatures right around 41 degrees at 3 p.m. this afternoon. Sunny skies this morning, beginning to cloud over for tonight. An alert day is in the forecast for Saturday morning. Keep in mind some accumulating snow will be moving into southern Wisconsin. A little bit of freezing drizzle possible as well. Otherwise, heading through the rest of the weekend, just sunny and cold with highs in the low 30s on Sunday. Looks to stay pretty quiet through the first part of next week as well.
And that is certainly something we will keep our eye on, is that system as it moves toward us here over the next 24 to 36 hours or so. You can keep track of it for yourself with our Channel 3000 First Alert weather and traffic app.
Making plans that are weather dependent? Get an accurate 12-hour, even a 10-day forecast. Download the Channel 3000 First Alert weather app and start planning.